they're the beefsteaks I'm going to grow this year. It's worth just looking at the packets as well, and you'll see where I've got the seeds from. The ones on the left, this one, the foil wrapped one, they're from Nikki's Nursery. It's a great website. They're really cheap as well, and they've probably got the best range of tomato varieties on the net. Certainly, that are available to UK buyers. The pack's really good as well. It's cool to the touch. Obviously, it's airtight. That's fantastic. As I say, cheap. Really, really good choice of tomatoes. That's a good site as well. Plants of Distinction. They sell a good range of tomatoes. The sort of envelope type packet, they're from Victorian Nursery. They've got a good website. They're a little bit more selective in terms of what they offer. The offering's a little bit more limited, but they've got some good clips on their website as well on how to grow tomatoes and how to save them, how to maintain them during the year. So I seem to remember there are about half a dozen video how-to guides which are quite useful. And then you just got standard sort of garden centre bought packets. One from Thompson and Morgan, they supply good tomatoes. A little bit more expensive if you buy them in that form from the garden centre, unless you buy them at the end of the season when they're selling them off cheap. And then the packet on the left, the Brandy Boy, that's from America. My sister-in-law's American, and once a year she goes back to the States to visit her folks, and I always give her a list of tomatoes that I've seen and I'd like to buy. The ones at the bottom, they're where I've started to collect myself, Black Russian and Green Zebra. And another good website for seed is Simply Seed. You can see it in the middle there, simplyseed.co.uk. We have a lot of holidays in Germany, and so I always have a look, see if there's anything that's a bit exotic when we're on holiday, and I treat myself. And again, a few more that I've taken seed from, open pollinated varieties. So they're free, cost nothing. So if you end up saving your own seed, when you make your own compost, you can be eating tomatoes for free. And just briefly then, the tomatoes that I'm going to be growing this year are going to be, these are the beefsteak, remember, Mortgage Lifter, Tomato Delicious. That held the world record for the heaviest tomato until recently. I think the record's been taken by a tomato called Big Zac. The Hillbilly tomato, which is a colourful one with streaks of yellow and red. Tomato Purple Calabash. That's an ugly looking tomato, but with purpley black tones. It's supposed to be quite spicy. And another one that's very similar, from the Cherokee Indian tribe in America, over 100 years old, this variety, Cherokee Purple. And I think with the exception of the Delicious, I think they're all open pollinated varieties. Ananas Noir, that's German for black pineapple, and that's a multicoloured and again spicy tomato. Caspian Pink, which is a Russian tomato. It's supposed to be quite sweet, a little bit like a pink brandy wine. And then a black tomato beefsteak, Paul Robeson. Again, the black ones tend to be more spicy. Then the Brandy Boy from America, and I think one of the few F1s that I'll be growing, that's Country Taste. And that's, if you're going to grow one beefsteak tomato reliably, I think that's the one to go for. It's a really sweet tomato. You're guaranteed to get lots of tomatoes off it, and every year I get 1 or 2 tomatoes off each plant that weigh about a pound and a half. Cover a sandwich with 1 slice, and it not too wet either. That's the advantage of beefsteak tomatoes. Green zebra, that looks good. You'll see a clip of that in the photo collage that I put on as my second upload. It's not a particularly tasty tomato, but it looks really nice. And looks nice in salads and what have you. But it tastes okay, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's outstanding. Black Russian, grew that for the first time last year, and that's quite a big tomato. I only bought one tomato plant from a garden centre last year, and that was it. It cost me about £1.50. I just couldn't resist it. I'd got enough tomatoes, but I walked around the garden centre and it took my eye, so I bought it. One plant, it was very slow to grow. All the others were 6 foot high, and this was about 3-4 foot. Looked like it was struggling. Didn't put particularly good compost and what have you in the pot. It was down on the allotment, a mixture of soil and cheap compost, bit of fish blood and bone, and that was it. By the end of the season, this was the only tomato that was still going, because beefsteak tomatoes are longer season tomatoes. You're normally looking at 75 to 90 days, so you really do need a greenhouse. But this one produced about 35 tomatoes, and each tomato weighed between ½ a pound and a pound. So you can't say fairer than that. I must have taken probably 20 pounds of tomatoes off one plant. The cherries, I've tried dozens of cherries, but there comes a point when you don't want to waste the growing space in your greenhouse, and you end up growing your favourites and then just trying a few on the side. So Sun Gold, that's just about everybody's favourite, super sweet one that is. And then the one in the middle from Simply Seed, that's Sakura. I bought that for the first time a couple of years ago at the Harrogate show in September, and it's an F1. It's a little bit like a Gardener's Delight, but the trusses are massive, and the first tomatoes will ripen on the truss, and you can leave them and let the rest of the truss ripen up, and they're still all taste of the same quality by the time the truss is ripened. Very sweet as well. A little bit like a Shirley Globe tomato in that it's reliable, they all look the same, they'll stay on the bush for a long time, and they taste really good. Black cherry, that's a heritage cherry tomato. Take the seed from it, it's really sweet. It's hard to describe the taste, but in a good year, if it's been reasonably warm and you've not overwatered it, I think that's key. They taste fantastic. They taste really, really nice, really fruity, and you get one cordon cherry would be enough. You get pounds and pounds of them. They're very popular in the States as well if you look on the web and read reviews. The other one is Green Grape, introduced a few years ago. The first time I grew it, I did it as an afterthought and just popped them in tiny little pots. They were probably 2.5 litre pots. I had no compost left. I had a little bit of manure, so I stuck a bit of manure in. The pots were only 3/4 full, and I neglected the plants all year. I almost threw them away 2 or 3 times, and I'd just, every now and then they looked like they were drying out, so I give them a splash of water. Went away on holiday and thought, well, they've still not produced anything. Came back, they were covered in yellowy green tomatoes, and they were some of the sweetest tomatoes I've ever tasted, rivaling Sun Gold, I would say, but with not quite as a strong taste, because Sun Gold, if it's grown in the sun, it's really, really intense. There's a little bit milder, but really, really nice. The next year I thought, I'll grow these in the greenhouse, and I put loads of compost and manure and bloodfish and bone. They grew really tall. All the tomatoes were about 3 times the size, but as a result they weren't as tasty. So that's perfect as well for growing outside, if we don't get any blight, because you can neglect it and you'll end up with really nice tomatoes. Trying another green one this year, bought this in Germany. Don't know what it's going to taste like. Limetto it's called. You can buy all these things on the internet, you don't have to travel abroad to get them. And I'm just going to grow one standard tomato this year, and it's called Mirinda. It's Sicilian, and I bought it on a market in Germany the year before last. It has green shoulders. You can wait while it's red and it's softer, but if you eat it when it's that little bit underripe, it's really, really spicy, quite firm, and really unusual, but really, really tasty. So they're my tomatoes for this year. We've got 1, 6, 11, 14, probably about 18 varieties in total. And I'll probably grow about 40 plants. I'll grow about 20 more for friends, but I'll have about 40 split between 3 greenhouses. So they're my tomatoes for this year. And if you see anything there that you like, have a look online and try them out. Hi guys, didn't actually sow any tomatoes, did I? It's a small fruit, but it's a big subject. And the last few clips were definitely for the tomato enthusiast. I hope you found something of value in what I've done today, perhaps a new variety or maybe a website that you didn't realise existed. So I'd like to thank you again for watching. I will try and actually sow some tomato seed next time, and I hope you come along to watch. So thanks for viewing. Look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.